Welcome, Irish fans, to this week's edition of the Jack Swarbrick Show. On today's show, we will visit with outstanding Notre Dame women's soccer goalkeeper, Kayla Little, and one of the top female cross-country competitors in the country who just happened to grow up in the shadow of the Golden Dome, Anna Rohrer. Plus, we will have a special added guest this week, former NBC Sports president, Ken Shanzer. But first, to get things started, here is Notre Dame Vice President and a Director of Athletics, Jack Swarbrick, and his student-athlete co-host for this season, Notre Dame football captain and linebacker James Onwualu, and Notre Dame softball pitcher and a member of the 2016 ACC All-Academic Team, Rachel Nasland.
You guys are so good that the guests are fighting to get on the show. We've gone from 2 guests to 3. Pretty soon we'll have an audience. We'll have to cheering for as you come on the set, I think. So
I guess that's just what we do.
They're here to see James, really?
No.
Well, glad to have you back. Glad to get another week in the books. And it was a good week for Notre Dame athletics. We're going to talk a little soccer in a bit, but great weekend out in California with our women's soccer team. A couple of draws, including one with number 1 Stanford. So to go out there and get that result is great. Men's soccer ranked number 1 in the country, 6-0. I made it all the way through the game last night until the second overtime, and of course that's when the golden goal occurred, and I missed it. But they are playing so well. And this week we're hosting the National Catholic Invitational cross country, and we'll get to talk to Anna a little bit about that. But let's start with the football game, James. And it was a nice turnaround in week 2 against Nevada.
Absolutely. I mean, it's fun to get home, and play in front of our fans and absolutely get the win. So we're excited to be back and, hope to keep it rolling again at home this weekend.
Now, Nevada came out with something of a classroom lesson in what you can run on offense. They were pulling everything out, right?
Oh,
they
yeah.
had triple option and pistol. And were you guys prepared for that? How do you approach that when you see something that they hadn't ever shown on film?
Yeah, like I said last week, I mean, we had an idea that they're going to bring a bunch of different stuff and save pretty much everything they had for us. But when you have so many different packages, you can only practice so much. So when you throw different pressures at them, when they're getting into those, triple option things and, trying to give us different sets, they don't really know how to block it. So fortunately for me, I got a couple tackles in the backfield off of those.
Well, you did.
So, it worked out for me. I was glad they brought the house.
Tried to trick you with that one reverse, and
they almost got me. Yeah,
you were waiting there.
Yeah, they almost got me, but picked it up.
Well, that's great. The offense certainly continued to roll with a lot of great performances. Certainly that starts with Deshaun, who had a really solid game in his first game, sort of as the anointed starter on the team.
Yeah, it's good to see him, running the offense and them getting long drives and really keeping the ball in our possession helps the defense a lot. And the field position was a huge thing as well. Last game, we had great field position. Newsome and all our special teams were doing a great job, so that helps both sides of the ball. And when you're all playing and all 3 teams are playing together, it really helps, and you can get a win much easier.
Watching him run this week, it's not new, but he continues to prosper. I couldn't help but thinking it must not be much fun to go against Josh Adams in practice, because he's a big combination of size and speed.
Oh yeah, I mean all of our backs. That's why I was excited to get to Texas and get into our actual season. You're playing some pretty serious backs, some pretty serious receivers. So it's tough to compete to guys that you're sitting next to in the locker room. But yeah, those guys are great in practice and obviously on game day. So
give us a little scouting report on Michigan State.
Everybody's going to be talking about their physicality. We've been preparing for that all week. It's a little bit different for us just because, we're used to teams that spread the offense out, pass the ball, run on the edges. But they're going to bring in 2 backs. They're going to bring in 2 tight ends. So that'll be a little bit different for some of the guys who haven't experienced that. So,
yeah.
Do you feel like there's higher pressure this week?
I mean, a little bit, yeah. I mean, even internally, we know it's a big game. Everybody puts the pressure on this, but every game at home means a ton, But this one is a big one, especially just because of the history and the tradition. You want to beat a team like this. You want to beat a team that, prides themselves in being physical and has also done well in the past few years. So, yeah, I mean, you feel the pressure, but at the same time, you're just ready to get the win.
Our two guests last week, Ian Cole and Brian Russ from the Penguins, they also joined me on Saturday for a session I do called Ask Jack, cleverly titled, where we have a public forum and people get to ask us questions. We talk about it. And in that, I had a great conversation with them because these guys, I mean, obviously they won the Stanley Cup, but it was a remarkable journey. In one series, went, I think, 6 games, all 1-goal games. In 2 consecutive series, they had a total of 5 overtimes. So I was saying to them, the pressure just must be extraordinary when every shift matters, when you know something's going to happen. And both of them had an interesting response, and I want to know whether it holds for both of you. They said, there's zero pressure when you're in the moment. Yeah. All you're thinking about is what you're supposed to do. You don't have any sense of any of that. After the game, you may sense it. But they said, when we're playing the game, it's the easiest part of what we do.
No, yeah, absolutely. I think that, when you're playing in front of 100,000, it's the same as playing. I mean, once you get to a certain point of attendance, it's all about the same. You just learn to block it all out. And in those big moments, you're taught to go to your technique, and that's when you focus in the most. And that's what the game's all about. So at those points when it's a big third down and you need a stop, or like last weekend we needed a 4th down stop, I think that's when you really get everybody locked in and focused, and you forget about the pressure aspect of it because you're trying to focus on your job. So I'd have to agree with them.
How about for you, Rachel? Bases loaded, 2 outs.
Slinging the rock.
Yeah, I'd have to say it might be a little bit different for softball. I mean, in the single second, like, say a batter is getting a pitch, yes, it's instinct whether you swing or not because it's so quick. And same with fielding a ground ball, but going up to the plate or maybe stepping on the mound, it's very strategic in that moment, and you're thinking about, I just threw a ball, or if I throw a ball here, it could be a walk, or this girl has the highest home run record. Like, you don't want to pitch it to her sweet spot, essentially. So I think depending on the situation, there is a little bit more pressure stepping up to the plate or onto the mound.
That makes sense. The pace of the game is different, right? I mean,
it's very different. It's very methodical, and a lot can turn with just like one pitch going wrong.
This week, of course, night game, national television. From the players' perspective, from the student body's perspective, how's the day different?
The day's different for us because I get a nice nap during the day. It's not as quick in the morning. We get up, do a little shakeout, get the blood flowing, some meetings just to mentally stay engaged, go over some last red alerts. But then you get some time, hang out in your room with your roommate and get some rest and think about what there is to come. So I don't mind night games. I like night games, especially here, just because you're not traveling after. But, the day is different.
Which would you prefer, night or day?
Night for the atmosphere, day for my rest and my mind.
I'll have to second that. I would agree at night, there's something about Saturday Night Lights. The atmosphere is just intensified even more, but it is a longer day. For that reason, our team, we typically have practice actually in like the early afternoon. Because our coach doesn't want it to be too long of a day for us. So our preparation for like the football game kind of starts later in the evening and stuff. But it's high intensity all day, I think. People are still out in the parking lot. When I walk to practice in the morning, people are out there already.
Yeah. What's the practice week like for you during the fall? Because you have a lot more time to practice than you do in the spring, right?
We do. We're typically in the afternoon a few days a week. I'd mentioned that we practice in the mornings right after workouts, but we're about 2.5 to 3 hours a day in the afternoon. They're pretty exhausting practices just because this is the time now that we can be sore and tired because we don't have competition. But actually in 2 weeks we do start competition, and our first game is against one of the pro softball teams who's coming to campus. They're doing a tour, so we get to face them, which is exciting.
Oh, great. That's super. Well, one of the reasons we can host home night games is that our partner NBC creates a great opportunity for us because by being with them we get to we get to have a national broadcast window, which doesn't happen for a lot of college teams. ESPN frequently has regional broadcast, and it's a lot of fun. It adds to the excitement of those night games to know the entire country's watching it, and having a lot of fun. This week, though, we're celebrating another aspect of that relationship, and that is, in the now 25 years it's existed, we've used that relationship and that partnership to contribute to the university's undergraduate scholarship fund. And this summer we crested over $100 million of undergraduate scholarships, helping almost 7,000 young people achieve their dream of being at Notre Dame. And that's a piece of athletics that people don't often think about and appreciate, and sort of connects the athletics to the campus in a special way for me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We were just talking about it offset as well. I mean, we both saw it on Instagram or Twitter yesterday at some point, and I mean, it's so cool. You don't see a lot of the times that impact that it has on the student and the student body. And I also think that it, kind of connects the two sides of it. We're kind of working for them, but at the same time they're working for us and, making this university what it is. So,
yeah.
I'd have to agree. I don't think softball really draws it all in, but football, I mean, you guys do a lot for even the other sports. A lot of us wouldn't be around or have what we do have if it wasn't for your team and all the crowd that you draw and all your followers. So it's really exciting.
Yeah, I think there is a great sense of that here. I talk to other people at other institutions where there's some tension about that, but I think there's a recognition here that the football drives the entire program, and their success is important to everybody, and so everyone's very supportive.
Absolutely, it's something to be appreciative of.
Yeah,
a lot of people don't get these benefits, and it comes a lot because of football.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the support too, because I know when we're coming out of the tunnel, there's always some athletes and familiar faces that I can see up on the right side. So that's always nice for us as well.
Well, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk to the man who is significantly responsible for this marvelous relationship between Notre Dame and NBC and the legacy it has created for this university. And so let's take a break, and we'll come back with Ken Schanzer.
Stepping onto that field, letting your teammates rushing around you, fans, the bright lights, it's incredible.
The shot from McGowan, and she scores!
And we know that there's no easy games throughout the season. Every game, it's got to be a fight.
Great footwork. Little makes the diving save.
It's like this team is a family. You're playing for something that's bigger than yourself.